Oh, welcome back, guys. G Funky Boxing. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell. Let's give a big hand tonight, guys, for my co-host of the evening for Real Talk with Rick Glaser, my man Joseph Herron. How you doing, Joe?
Oh, guys, I look forward to Monday evening so much because we are about to seek counsel to one of the sharpest knives in the boxing drawer, the incomparable Real Rick Glaser.
That's right. And let's give the man a hand as well. Rick, thanks for joining us tonight, buddy.
Thanks for having me, guys. Let's get started because I don't have a lot of time tonight.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I want to say what's up to Tycho in the chat, Toby, and my main man, Round One. Thank you guys for being punctual tonight. Hit the like button for me when you stop in. Yeah, this is going to be a fun show. So, Rick, earlier today on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it these days, you got some tweets that are just running wild like Hulk Hogan, like Hulkamania. All right. Excuse me. 16 hours ago, you tweeted, just got off the phone with my guy in Dubai. He told me Floyd Mayweather is definitely being held by the government court system there as he owes a substantial amount of money in Dubai. They take indebtedness over there seriously, very seriously. Was told the debt unassociated with boxing. Floyd's desperately trying to work things out to no avail so far. So Gervonta Tank Davis is correct that Floyd is being held there. This tweet has gone up to currently 576,000 views on X. So, Rick, anything else you would like to share or go into detail about this tweet here?
Well, he's not being held as a hostage. He's being detained, which means he can't leave the country. He's not in a prison cell over there. There's a misunderstanding. Some people say he's a hostage. He's not a hostage. He's just being detained within the country. He's walking around. He's in restaurants. He's in hotel room and all that kind of stuff. But he's not allowed to leave the country. And how they do that is they do that electronically. So before you deport leave the country, they run your passport and electronically, and then there'll be a block on his passport, so he can't leave the country. That's how that works. So if he attempts to leave the country, that's when they arrest you.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
So the way I understand it, him and a guy named Jonah Nietzwitz or something, I can't pronounce his name, an Israeli, I understand. That's his sidekick. They grabbed a couple $1 million from a jeweler in merchandise the last time they were there, and they never paid them. They said, "Oh, we get back to the States, we'll wire the money." They never wired the money, from what I understand. Now this part is all what I'm piecing together. That part's unofficial. The part that he's detained is official, but supposedly a couple $1 million in jewelry is in question. So that's what's going on. And with this started, I guess, on Friday, and with banks, with the time difference and everything, the banks were closed. Now I don't know if the money was wired today and we'll get there tomorrow. I don't know. Because of the time difference. Because remember, if they would have wired the money with the 9 hours to East Coast time, the difference to Dubai, and 12 hours to Vegas difference. So if they would have went to the bank, let's just say this morning at 9 o'clock to wire the money wouldn't have got there till 9 o'clock tonight. If it went there immediately. So tomorrow, could he get released? I don't know. If he sent the money, he'll get released. So let's see what happens. Man, that's the latest.
What a story we got going on there. And again, a lot of people interested with, and then we look at the views of that tweet. Yeah, they're it's going crazy. So we've already got a few questions here for you, Rick. So we'll get them out the way real quick. I want to say what's up to Bruce Gass, Kamikaze, boxing pound for pound Jack. And then we got a question here from Alberto, and he says, Rick, can you guys ask Rick Glaser what the pay-per-view buys were for Ryan Garcia versus Haney. I'm seeing anywhere between.
They're not out yet. Let me explain this. Okay, they're easier to get. The traditional cable pay-per-view buys always come out by Friday. Just streaming, whether it's ESPN, whether it's DAZN, it takes a little longer. I don't know what the reason for that is. I don't think it's technical. I don't think it's anything to do with technical. I just think they take their time. That's all. And that's a story there. So we'll see what happens. But I think it did very well. It was tracking well. I know a lot of people that bought it that had 3 of them hadn't bought a pay-per-view since Mayweather Pacquiao in 2015. Ooh. And one of them hadn't bought a pay-per-view since Lennox Lewis, Mike Tyson, June 8th of 2002. So it really brought out a lot of people, you know.
It sure did. It sure did. And we have another question here from Boxing Pound for Pound. Jack says, so Rick, Floyd doesn't have a couple of $1 million cash in liquid?
Well, it's not what they're saying. In other words, I'm not saying that. I don't know what he's got and doesn't. But if it happened on Friday with the 12-hour difference, banks are closed on Saturdays in most places, especially in Muslim countries. Okay, they wire the money today, and with the 12-hour difference, wouldn't get there until tonight. So maybe the money appears tomorrow. Now, if he doesn't appear tomorrow, then we know there's a problem. Wow. Let's put it that way too. That's the best way to put it.
Yep. And Kamikaze, we are going to talk about this briefly, so just hang tight, buddy. Joe, do you have anything to add to this this topic here with Floyd Mayweather?
Well, look, does this surprise me? Absolutely not. But look, guys, this is going to be resolved. Floyd is worth a lot more than a couple of $1 million. This is going to be resolved. This is much ado about nothing. But it does. This isn't just a soap opera that.
No, it's Davis Joe. It speaks to bad characters. What it does.
No, you're absolutely right. But does that surprise me at all when it comes to Floyd Mayweather?
No.
Remember, they had to, even when he had the flu, they had to go through with the Dakota fight because he was going directly to jail immediately following that. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Go directly to jail. So this is something that we already know. Yeah. So this shouldn't surprise anybody, guys. And Rick, as usual, has the beat. And there it is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that's why we've summoned Rick Services tonight. So we can talk about this with the great subscribers here on this channel, and also from Joseph's channel. So here's another one. We're doing a quick Twitter watch here for Rick. Now here's one hold on. Oh,
it's time for Rick Glaser's Twitter watch.
we already started that. We already started that with the Floyd Mayweather tweet. Come on.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Look, hey, forgive me because I had a Grace papaya.
Yeah.
So here's another tweet here from Rick from 10 hours ago, and it says, OMG, Jake Paul and Mike Tyson now officially sanctioned fight that counts on their boxing records, but have only 8 rounds of 2 minutes each. Only in Texas would they approve that this is a real fight. Tyson will be 58 years old by fight time and hasn't won a fight in 21 years. Now, I know, Joseph, you just said you were not surprised at the Floyd Mayweather situation. Are any of us surprised at this announcement? Rick, are you surprised at this?
The fact that somebody dreamed this whole thing up is just appalling. You know what I'm saying? I'm a purist. This is garbage.
Yeah. I agree, man. But we all know.
And all I'm going to say is this. All I'm going to say is this, G and Rick. If this sizzles and creates a lot of drama and it's a good product that the fans appreciate, like the Rick or like the Ryan Garcia fight the other night, then this could be a stroke of genius and very healthy for the sport. No?
This is equivalent to the Evel Knievel jumping the Snake River Canyon in 1974. Okay? Please.
Is that where he broke every bone in his body?
Yeah. And I think that was actually promoted by Vince McMahon, if I'm not mistaken.
No, Bob Arum.
Oh, boy.
Was it Bob? Oh, okay.
Bob
okay.
Arum.
Yeah.
Yep, Bobo.
I think Vince had something to do with one of Evil Knievel's stunts or something like that. But yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot of money that's being thrown around here. Like, obviously, now that it's a real fight, that means people can actually bet on this thing, But here's a weird thing. They make it a real fight, counts on the record, 8 rounds of boxing, but 2-minute rounds? That's for the women. Like, what is going on with that? I don't know.
Well,
I don't
and the
understand.
geriatrics.
They're probably checking them for vaginas. That's why.
Hey, forget about it. I love it. Oh my goodness. Yeah, 2-minute rounds for these guys. And that's we all know that's for the women's side of boxing. Okay, no disrespect to the women that are listening, but yeah, it should be 3-minute rounds. But yeah, obviously we know there's a lot of money that's involved with this decision. Another question here about this fight. How much is Netflix spending on this fiasco? That's a good question. I don't know, but I know
Mike Tyson's got to be getting 20 million. I don't know what Jake Paul's getting, plus the cost of the promotion. I mean, they're gonna do some. I think it's a good live draw. For the people of Dallas that don't know any better. I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, people,
but here's the good part,
people,
Rick.
except for Joe, the people in Texas are not known to be the brightest.
Yeah, that's why everyone's moving here, because we're not the brightest, Rick. But I will say this. Here's the good part about this, and this is the brilliant design of Mr. Jake Paul, MVP. We just heard from our brother James from the Boxing Source, who's got the skinny care of, well, I can't disclose that, but your man, Rick, Floyd Schofield just signed a deal to compete against Ashton Sylvie in the lightweight division.
Wow,
that's going to be hard. So he's putting real fights in front of everyone's eyeballs on the undercard. That is a great thing for boxing.
I think so too. Yeah, for that big audience guy, like someone like Schofield, who's got a lot of potential. He's going to be seen by a lot of new fans. Obviously the female fight, that's the co-feature of the night. So yeah, there is some good things to come from this. Now, the bad, obviously, we know is if Tyson goes out there and gets stretched by a guy like Jake Paul. Now, my question is this: being that he is a troll and he likes to troll people on a lot of things, does he go out there and do the ultimate troll job and villain job and knock out someone like Mike Tyson, who's loved by millions?
Hold on. I'm trying to figure out who the villain is here. Why don't we bring up the people that Mike physically did things with over the years, and the guy he smacked on the side of the road ended up in prison, and the woman he raped? I mean, come on. Who's the villain here?
Let's just be honest. He's an anti-hero. He's not a villain. He is the guy who we love unconditionally, even though he's not exactly the most
desirable.
Yeah, he's like boxing's own Tony Soprano. Let's just be honest.
Oh, yeah. And
wait, time out. At least Tony Soprano picked up dinner checks.
Oh, Joe.
Oh, how about that, huh? You eat, I pay. All right.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh boy.
And Bruce Gass has a question about drug testing. He says, how about drug testing with Jake's 30-pound gain in a month? I don't know if there is drug testing for this fight.
No, of course not, because you can't tell me that. Look,
Mike Tyson will stay off the weed.
Yeah. Well, not only the weed, but you can't tell me he's not taking that magic human growth hormone to try and look like a spriteful young man.
Yeah.
And look, I'll say this: for the first 20 seconds of every round, he's going to be dangerous.
Boy, yeah.
But for 20 seconds, jeez.
Yep, the 20 seconds of fire from Mike Tyson every round. Maybe you should space it out, you know? Go ahead, Rick.
They should have 5 minutes in between rounds while they're at it.
Right. 5-minute breaks in between rounds, 2-minute rounds. Let's do it. All right.
Hey, with 14-ounce gloves, 14-ounce gloves. Come on, man. Look,
That actually favors Tyson in a way, because you can hit harder with one punch, but you'll wear a guy down quicker with the bigger gloves, because he'll keep taking the punches until a certain point. So it does go both ways there.
Indeed. That's a very good observation, Rick. I will say this though. I told you guys this was going to happen. I spoke with Greg Alvarez about a month and a half ago. And I told you that this was going to be a real sanctioned contest, because you cannot promote it any other way. How can you promote an exhibition that someone's going to sleep if it's an exhibition? Right. I knew this already, and I told everyone that this was going to be a real sanctioned bout. According to Greg Alvarez, lo and behold, here it is.
Yeah. Well, we know who the prostitutes, the prostitute commission of boxing is. We can see that.
I'll take it, brother. I'll take it.
And another thing too that I noticed with the announcement of this fight and casuals getting back into it. Obviously, Tyson has a ton of fans still, but people reached out to me for obvious reasons, like, "Hey, man, is this a real fight, or what's going on? What are the rules?" And up until today, I said, "Look, as far as I know, this thing is an exhibition." So people kind of like, well, then maybe I might not watch it since it's not a real fight, because people really want to see Jake Paul get knocked out by Tyson. So maybe that might be something too. Hey, let's make it a real fight. Subscribers might go up. Who knows? They might gain a couple million just for this event now that it's a real thing. And people really do believe Tyson's going to knock this guy out. I don't know if you guys would like to give your pick or not on this fight, but what do you think, Rick? How do you think this one plays out?
Come on, please. I'm not even going to watch it, let alone pick it. I'm not even watching, let alone pick it. The only reason I may watch is a Floyd Schofield.
I was just going to say, yeah.
So what do you think of that matchup? What do you think of that matchup, Rick? Floyd versus 11-0 with 9 knockouts.
I think they've both been, they haven't really fought anybody, either guy yet, but I think that Floyd's fought the better guys. The Dominican he just fought was pretty good. Lionel Rhodes was solid, and he did a great job with those guys, so I don't think this will be any differently. The other guys fought in the bottom of the barrel. So
there it is. And there it is.
Yep. All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on to the next tweet from our guy, Rick Glaser. Hold on. I lost it. Okay.
In the tri-state area.
In the tri-state area. That's right. Okay. Where are you? Okay, here we go. Could you imagine the crazy buildup if Ryan Garcia and Teofimo Lopez were to fight? Those two, plus both their respective fathers, are highly emotional. Bombs away at all media appearances. A promoter's dream. Rick, that's a fantastic matchup on paper, and you're right, the fathers would be going at it, and with both guys acting crazy outside of the ring. Yeah, I think promoters will be definitely wanting a piece of this action here, man. But do you think that that's a possibility to happen next, Rick?
Well, you'd think so. I mean, it's the most amount of money both guys can make, especially Teofimo.
Right.
So Teofimo needs that fight more, that payday more than what's his name does, because of the fact that Ryan's fight, no matter who he fights, he makes a lot of money. But this other guy here, I mean, there's no reason not to do that fight. That's a fun fight. I mean, the PR behind that fight, I mean, the media would, oh my God, it'd be a circus.
Well, look, let's just face it, Rick. He priced himself out of this last Saudi event in LA. Arum wanted him to compete on that one. And he priced himself out of a fight with Ryan already that was supposed to take place in Saudi in February. This is a guy who is delusional beyond anything that Ryan has ever stated or done.
I get that. Okay. And
so what is the probability of everyone being able to put this fight together?
That's why I said if. Well, because he's going to get paid the most amount of money he's ever got paid, and it won't even be
Yeah,
close.
I think he'd be
Probably three
foolish.
times, probably 3 times what he's ever gotten.
Yeah,
So
I hope he realizes that, Rick. And I actually tweeted something underneath that tweet there when I just said, "Hey, look, let's just hope, like Joseph is saying, let's just hope he doesn't try to price himself out now because he turned down the fight, according to him, right? According to him, he said, I turned that thing down because, they offered me a flat fee with the fight. Now, again, imagine if he did take the fight. What if he beat Ryan on that big stage that we just saw him fight with Devin Haney? Yeah, his career goes to the next stratosphere. It takes a big leap. But he passed up the opportunity because, like Joe said, he wanted too much money. He was being delusional with his demands. So it's a fun fight. Teofimo is the lineal guy. A lot of people recognize him as the best in that division. So I say, why not, man? I love that fight.
Ryan, he's actually the best in the 143-pound division.
There you go.
The King Rye division. Woo!
Yep, the King Rye division. 143, baby. WBC champ. But yeah, that's a great fight, man. Both guys fast, explosive, power. I think it's a fantastic fight. But do you realistically think that will happen, Rick? Or do you think that Golden Boy already has somebody else in mind?
Well, I don't know if it'll happen next, but between the two fights that they both have remaining this year, I think that it should happen. One will fight in August. One will fight this summer. Both should fight this summer, and then some will both fight this fall, maybe against each other. I don't know if it's going to happen next. I think we're getting a little ahead of ourselves, but I think it's got to happen. I don't see.
Yeah.
I can't figure out why it wouldn't happen. How's that?
I agree, man. Unless again, these Team Lopez comes in, demanding too much money. That's the only thing I could see stopping it. I think Ryan's good with the fight. It's a big event, and yeah, fantastic fight for the fans. But let's move on to the next one here. Unless you had anything to add to that, Joe.
No. I think it speaks for itself. I just have to look. I have no confidence in Teofimo Lopez actually living on this planet and understanding what fair market value actually means. So I'll have to see it to believe it. In my opinion,
well, Joe,
just like Andy Ruiz. Go ahead, sir.
That's why I did say if, okay, in the tweet. But my point was, if they did fight, but it is what the fathers and the two fighters are so volatile, and the two fathers are volatile and emotional. It would be pandemonium. Everything would be. Every media appearance would be, and in between would be pandemonium every day.
It would be straight fire, Rick.
Oh,
it would be straight fire, and it would be a spectacle from start to finish.
That's a fight. You don't have to spend a dime on advertising.
Exactly.
That is absolutely right. And Teofimo and his dad are either too drunk or too delusional to see it.
Yep. They messed up the opportunity that they had.
He would demand, he's so delusional, he would demand 50% of the purse.
Oh, good God. I hope not, because that's a great fight. And look, you're right, Rick. It promotes itself. I mean, Bob and Oscar, all they have to do is just sit back and enjoy the fireworks at every press conference.
I know.
Build up to that. So let's go ahead and move on to the next tweet here. We got this one from April 28, 2024. It says, a lot of talk around the boxing business about Derek James having filed a lawsuit against Errol Spence for money owed for services rendered. If what's been said is true, that Spence advisor Al Heyman told Spence not to pay Derek James any more than he already paid James, that's a real low-life schedule move by Heyman. But I am not surprised at all. Dive into that a little bit more, if you would, sir.
I think it's self-explanatory. Wow, what do you dive into? Something that's so obvious? I mean, you're talking about, Derek. Listen, I'm not a fan of Derek James. Okay, he's been a Heymanite forever now, and now he's realizing Heyman isn't even his friend. So let the roosters drop dead wherever they stand. as far as I'm concerned. But in truth, you know, there was some talk on the internet that he wanted to get paid for the pay-per-view money. No, he was going by the basic, just the basic. You know, they were never putting the right amount on the contract because they were trying to beat the WBC out of money, and here he's getting shorted, and he wants he wants what's owed to him, and I don't blame him. He's not wrong. And then for Al Heyman to interject, I mean, come on, please. This is. Can you imagine? Don't pay that motherfucker. He doesn't deserve any more than he got. Come on. What the fuck? You know, Jesus. Pay. I always believe in paying somebody their just due. Period.
Yeah,
You know,
not a good move or look.
And for those that don't think an oral contract or no contract stands up in boxing, it goes to something called industry standards and practices. And there are no contracts, and it's a general rule for trainers. And in the meantime, the courts have sided with trainers on many occasions, including the most famous one. Kevin Rooney versus Mike Tyson got $8.9 million plus $200,000 for interest, so $9.1 million total. Based on that, he would here's what people don't get. Once you accept services from anybody, a trainer in this particular instance, or a manager, you're obligated to pay him what industry standards and practices are once you've accepted service. It doesn't even matter if it's written. Now, is a written contract a lot easier? Of course. That's why we have written contracts. But a judge will go to industry standards and practices, and you accepted service. All he does is have to see the guy in the corner, or in the gym holding the pads, or in the corner in the fight and stuff. Okay, you accepted services. Now you don't want to pay the guy, you motherfucker. You look like the judges don't like that. Judges don't like that at all. So it doesn't show good character on Earl Spence, and the guy who doesn't show good character in those kind of situations always comes out on the bad side with the judge. Isn't that true, Joe?
Joseph, you there?
Oh boy.
Maybe he's having
some
internet.
My apologies. My apologies. I had it on mute while I was taking care of something on my computer. But yes, you're absolutely right, brother. And we are very familiar with all of that in boxing. Okay. Murad Muhammad. I just have to say that. That's it.
Yeah, not a good look or move for the truth, Spence. And yeah.
No, he's not the truth anymore. He's a fraud now.
Yeah.
He's trying to fraud this guy out of money.
Ooh, man, you gotta love Rick.
Words were never spoken by Rick Glaser, and there it
is. Indeed. So let's address this here, and I want to say what's up to 92AKU, Fotex, Champ Ross in the chat. You guys are joining in. Thank you for stopping by. But I'm gonna highlight this comment here, but I'm gonna read your tweet first, Rick. This is from 21 hours ago. It says Ryan Garcia is now up to 1.4 million Instagram followers since the big win over Devin Haney. Ryan now has 11.9 Instagram followers.
11.9 million. Yeah.
Million. So who is the face of boxing? None other than Ryan Garcia.
Right.
So
now, don't get me wrong.
Answer, Albert.
Canelo has more followers, 17 million. So does Anthony Joshua, 17 million. You got to remember. Okay, yes, but Ryan is trending up. Those guys' numbers are stagnant. Okay, right. He's going forward. They're stagnant. So he is the face of boxing now because the younger audience has accepted him, and he's bringing eyeballs to the table that never fought. Those guys are not bringing eyeballs to the table that never watched boxing. Trust me, Joshua and Canelo. But this guy is, and he is the face of boxing.
Well, let's just face it also, Rick, and you brought up piracy earlier. Okay.
Yep.
Now, we've already established by looking at the Saudi pay-per-views that you guys said were stacked. You guys said that you wanted You guys said that the Saudis were a godsend. How were those pay-per-view numbers thus far?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Well-
we've already established that the overwhelming majority of boxing diehards are the biggest culprits in stealing the best products.
Oh, there's not.
And so
There's
why
not
do you
even.
think this?
There's not. What are you talking about? Half of them are bragging on social media that they stole it. Are you kidding
Yeah,
me?
exactly. So we've already
And
established
then
that.
when
So
I
why
said
do you-
I bought it, they questioned my sanity or my brains. I said, don't
Yeah.
question my sanity or my brains. That's one thing you can't do with me.
yeah, exactly. So why do you think Ryan Garcia did so well? Why do you think
Because
we're seeing
Ryan Garcia tracks non-boxing fans that are general
it.
sports fans
Yep.
and the general public, young women, young girls, and he's bringing in a whole new audience to boxing that Canelo and Joshua don't bring.
That
it.
is
And why do you think
100%
Jake-
true.
Exactly. Why do you think Jake Paul and Mike Tyson is happening, and why do you think Netflix was interested?
Yep. A whole new
Guys,
demographic.
so this is happening, all of this, because of you guys. If you want to be considered the real bosses of boxing still, then you've got to financially support the product. There's no other way. It doesn't matter how long or how often you bellyache on your favorite social media outlet. You've got to have some skin in the game, or else shut your mouth. That's it.
Yep. And I want to tell a quick story here before we move on to the next tweet. At our show Friday night from the Gold Country Casino here, we had the Guerreros there, the Fighting Guerreros, Ruben, Robert, Robert Jr., and Maribel Guerrero. They were all there. She
Were they
fought on our
fighting with
card.
each other?
Oh, no.
Well,
the
you said the
touche.
Fighting Guerreros. I thought they were fighting with each other. Okay.
Yeah, the
Well.
Fighting family from Gilroy. And I talked to Robert briefly before the show. I shouldn't even say briefly. We were talking for about almost an hour before the show started. And, we talked about a bunch of things, but we also talked about, Canelo Munguia. We talked about Ryan Haney. Now, he said this to me. He said, look, man, I've been to Canelo's fights at the T-Mobile. He goes, it's a massive crowd, not an empty seat in the house. But he goes, man, when I went to Ryan Garcia versus Tank last year, he goes, I've never seen this kind of audience at a boxing event ever. And he was saying the same thing that we were talking about. He's, young girls, young kids dressing crazy in these influencer outfits and things like that. It's a whole new demographic of fans that come to see guys like Ryan Garcia. And I guess Tank Davis, according to what Robert was telling me. So, yeah, you guys are both 100% on the money, man. The people that pay to see these guys fight, especially Ryan Garcia, yeah, they're not the regular boxing fans like you and I,
So you guys are looking at the future of boxing within the American market, guys.
Yep.
Hallelujah.
And that answers the question there from our man Alberto in the chat. Mike, the mobile mechanic, is here. What's up, man? Off the ropes, boxing and MMA. Appreciate you guys for being here. Again, don't forget to hit the like button for Rick Glaser tonight. All right, we're on 30 more minutes with Rick.
I don't even like myself. What the hell?
So let's get into the next tweet here for the big fight coming up this Saturday night from Las Vegas, T-Mobile Center. Jaime Munguia versus Canelo Alvarez. And Rick says here, Jaime Munguia is capable of pulling off the upset with Canelo, as Munguia is the younger, fresher, bigger, throws more punches than Canelo, but Canelo is a counterpuncher, and Munguia will leave openings for Canelo to exploit. That's the tricky part for Munguia. I think you broke it down very well there, Rick, but if there's anything else you want to add to that, go right ahead, sir.
No, I think I did it very well, wrote it very well. And, it is what it is. I think it's going to be a hell of a fight, no matter who wins. I think Munguia's got a real shot to win, and if he doesn't, it'll at least be a great fight. And the fans will talk about it for a long time. It's not going to be any one-sided fight, or any quick knockout, or anything like that. It's going to be a real fight. That's what the fact is. There's too much pride involved in this fight not to be a great fight.
Indeed. And Rick, like you said,
would it also surprise you, Rick? Would it also surprise you if Munguia had the majority of the Mexican fight fans in attendance behind him. And rather than hearing Canelo, would you hear Munguia?
Not really.
Munguia.
I think it's going to be 50-50. I think one brings
Man.
a nouveau Mexican crowd, nouveau like upper, like what's the word I'm looking for? Upper crust type of people that are Mexican American, and got people that like the finer things of life, and then you got the diehard Mexican nationals that are old school, and they're going to go for Munguia. I think that's the way I break that down.
Fantastic. Fantastic. I agree with that. And yeah, this is a fantastic matchup, guys. Again, this is the first time Canelo's fought a Mexican in a really long time. Last time was Chavez Jr. Okay, and that fight was not very good. But I anticipate this fight being very I anticipate this fight to be very, very good, and I'm excited for it. And look, I want to address something real quick here, because I think this needs to be addressed with some fans. Now, Fotex is a good subscriber of mine. But he has a statement here in the chat where he says the Canelo Munguia undercard is hot garbage.
No.
So would any of you gentlemen here? Well, actually, let's ask Rick first, since this is Rick's show, and then you can chime in, Joseph. But
okay, well, let's go
big
fight.
Cards like this have bad undercards, Rick? Go ahead.
Let's go fight by fight. I'll tell you what they are. Who's fighting? Tell me the lead fight.
That is a good question. I don't even have that pulled up.
Okay, well, it's a whole bunch of fighters that haven't fought. There's a lot of fighters on the undercard that haven't fought in a long time, and that does suck. And I agree. Okay, but here's why you end up with that: because the main event guys are getting so much money. There's no money for the undercard, and I happen to agree. Okay, that it is a hot mess, and I have no enjoyment in watching it. It's going to be hot garbage.
Yeah, and keep that in mind, Fotex, next time you see a bad undercard, because what do we got? A combined purse of over $40 million in that main event, guys. So
40 million. Yep, you're not even close. It's 37 and 15 is 42 million. It's 52 million.
Oh, I thought Munguia was getting 6 million. He's getting more than. Okay,
guaranteed.
Wow. Okay.
Well, they put that on the contract because of the friggin' the taxes.
Got you. You see, guys, you got to learn, listen, and learn. All right. So
okay.
50
plus million. My opinion, and Rick is spot on in why you're not seeing more names, and also what he didn't add was that there are very few guys who are actual headliners, respectively, who want to fight on anyone's undercard. That's very tough sell, even if it is Canelo versus Munguia. But guys, wait till the fights play out before you make that determination.
Yeah, but
everyone this past weekend. Go ahead, sir.
Joe.
Yes.
I knew the Golden Boy fight's going to be pretty good. Okay, and I'm talking about on the on the pay-per-view. Okay, on the Haney Garcia, I knew they were going to be good. This past weekend, it turned out to be a great main event. You had a good girls fight. Okay, I mean it wasn't that bad. The Virgil Ortiz thing, I mean that was
brutal. Shot.
Yeah, that was a brutal body shot, but that was a joke. But to tell you the truth, in what did you expect Virgil to fight? Godzilla?
Yeah. Right.
I mean, come on. Everybody's got to get, and Virgil's a beast. So I didn't really have a problem with it, but here's my problem with this card. There's a whole bunch of fighters that shouldn't be even on pay-per-view. It shouldn't have this kind of platform. They haven't fought in years.
Yeah. And we're getting questions now about the big 5-on-5 card. I think is that the one from Saudi? The match.
Yeah, June 1st. June 1st.
And then we have another one here. Oh, go ahead, Joe. I'll grab the other one.
Well, look, guys. Once again, judge slowly, and if you're actually knowledgeable fight fans, which all of you guys are, or you wouldn't be here, wait till the fight plays out, because you really don't know. There have been cards that you guys have heralded. Oh, this is straight fire. This is the best card of the year, and it plays out to be a dud. Okay?
Yeah.
So once again, look at the individual matchups. Mario Barrios versus Fabian Maidana. That's a great style matchup, and it's going to deliver in terms of action. Brandon Figueroa versus Jesse
go,
Magdaleno. That's a mismatch.
I'll
Jesse
go back
Magdaleno
to,
is food.
yeah.
Amontes Staniones versus Gabriel Maestre. That's going to be a great
That could be
fight.
good. That could be good. Yeah.
So
Yep.
once again, guys, wait till the fights play out.
Hey, Joe,
Instead of just deeming it as hot
Joe,
garbage already. Yes, sir.
41 years ago, they had Dwight Mohammed Quarry versus Michael Spinks, and everybody thought it was going to be the fight of the century. That turned out to be like the worst fight of all time.
One
Yep.
round.
That's right. That's
Yes,
absolutely
indeed.
right.
Yes,
That's
indeed.
absolutely right, guys. And now, once again, keep in mind the 5-on-5. Oh, what about the 5-on-5? Okay, is Filip Urgovic a headliner? No. Is Daniel Dubois a headliner?
No.
Only in the UK and
Hold
only in
on,
this
Joe.
area.
You're
Yeah.
missing something here. Sorry to contradict you. Those aren't headline fights. What's going on is Beterbiev and Bivol's the headliner.
Of course.
Yeah, 5-on-5 is the undercard fights.
I know that, and that's my point. That's what I'm looking at. He's talking about, like, I'm just answering our brother Bruce Gas Boxing, Jazz and more. And guys, please go support our brother Bruce. He's saying, what about the undercard on 5-on-5, Joe? Well, I'm telling you, these guys are getting compensated. They're getting compensated for this. And let's just face it, they're not headliners anywhere. The only one you could argue is a headliner, depending on the area in which the venue in which the matchup is actually being promoted, is Zhilei Zhang. Yeah, you could say he's a headliner in China.
Yeah.
You could say he's a headliner depending on his opponent. And Deontay Wilder, let's face it, guys. How did he do when he was stuffed as the headliner in the Barclays Center? Didn't do so well. They didn't even open up the top section for him. Guys, these are guys who aren't real big, attractive headliners anywhere. You mean to tell me Raymond Ford or Nick Ball, they're headliners? No, guys. It's a great undercard. But, guys, once again,
they're only headliners in their own home.
That's it. Once again, wait till these fights play out and judge slowly, guys. Come on.
Yeah, because the PBC card that was on pay-per-view last month, on paper, it looked like hot garbage, but I was happy with the fight card. I thought they were all good fights. But it exceeded expectation. We got an upset in the main event, so this is why we watch the fights, guys. And the question here from Fotex earlier, he says, "Do you think that $100 price tag is justifiable for the August 3rd WrestleMania category boxing card?" Is that the Terence Crawford card that he's referring to? Is that $100?
Yeah. I don't know. Nobody said anything about $100 yet. I don't know where we got that. I never heard that.
Wait a minute.
First of all, the Saudis have been pricing their pay-per-views very reasonably. So I don't believe they're going to do a $100 pay-per-view.
No,
August 3rd,
$100 pay-per-view, guys. Come
on.
But
I will tell you that harkens back to fight parties. That card is so deep. I mean, that really harkens back to the fight, Don King, and back in the day, the Bob Arum, those kind of undercard fights from 30, 40 years ago. This harkens back to a party on fight night. I mean, realistically, the problem with these pay-per-views is there's too many people sitting around waiting for the main event, and they don't give a shit. If they put on good fights on the undercard, people would care. Just what reality is.
I've thrown many fight parties over the last close to 20-something years, 25 years. And most of the time people come, undercards on, and they're just, standing around the table getting snacks and just talking I'll
tell you what happened to me. The last time I went to a fight party at somebody's house. It's been a while now. I don't know, maybe 15 years ago, whatever. So went to a party. I don't even remember the fight anymore. You know what? It's more than 15 years because it was a Tito Trinidad fight. I'm trying to think of the fight. So it was more than 15 years ago. But anyways, I went to this. It was these nice Puerto Rican people that I'm friends with, still friends with. They invited me over, and I come there, and the weather's warm outside and stuff like that. And they got the pig on the spit going back and forth, and they said to me, "Rick, we're making the food inside. Will watch the poor thing and move it around. I go, no offense, but I says I've never done this before, and it being a big and pork, this is against my religion. He says to me, "What religion is that?" I says, "I'm Jewish." He says, "I didn't know I had a Jewish friend." I said, "Oh boy."
Indeed, guys. Gotta
look, guys,
watch the swine. All right.
well, look, guys, and I want to point out that can you pull up Champ side his tweet again,
okay.
his comment.
Let me go up.
Here's the
And
problem,
the Latin
guys.
Fury.
Yeah, here's the problem, guys. It wouldn't matter if it were $24.99, $99, or $2.99. The people who are guilty of consistently streaming the event,
Are
it
going to
doesn't
steal
matter
no
how
matter
much
what
it
the
is.
fucking price is. They're going to
Yep.
steal no matter what. I'll tell you what. If I'm going to be honest with you, okay? If you told them it was free, okay, they'd still steal it for sport purposes, just to say they did. That's the way it is.
That's it. That's it.
Yep. That's a
So
big problem,
so
guys.
virtually, the people who are paying for this are paying for this at this increased price point. They're basically paying for the guys who steal it. That's what you're paying for. And the reason why the Latin or the Saudi cards have been much cheaper, because they're the ones who are paying the big licensing. They're paying for the wages of these fighters, the inflated purses. And so DAZN is not footing the bill for the entire main event. They're just paying a reasonable licensing fee. That's why it's so much cheaper. Okay?
Yeah. So
am I wrong about that, Rick?
No, not at all. No,
I agree, man. And so here
we got 13 minutes to go. Speed it up. Come on.
This is the last one here. This is the last tweet, and then we will let you guys in the chat ask Rick whatever you want. So here's the last one from April 28th. If you're reading this and you're not excited about Virgil Ortiz versus Tszyu, then you need to choose another sport because boxing is clearly not your thing. That is a great matchup. I can't wait for that one, Rick. You were spot on with that, man. What a matchup that is going to be, man. Who you favoring in that one, Rick?
Well, I like Virgil, but it's a sensational fight. I wouldn't be surprised if he had to pick himself off the canvas one time. It's that kind of fight. It's going to be. I don't think it's rock 'em sock 'em because they're both highly skilled, but it's going to be. There's two big punchers. I think Virgil's a little faster, and I think he's got more ring awareness. And I think that's gonna be the two big factors in the fight: a little more speed and a little more ring awareness.
Indeed. And yes, Raider, we've talked about that. There have been reports out there of 1.5. There's been reports of 900,000. Rick has not received numbers from his source yet, but that's what we have to work with so far. But yeah, guys, I agree with that. I think Virgil has definitely a hand speed advantage in that matchup with Tszyu. Plus, I think his punches not just faster, but he's more explosive, and I think he's a little bit shorter with his shots. And Tszyu is a little bit longer, a lot of straight punches. But it's a great fight, man. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to see that. Joseph, what is your thoughts on that matchup?
Straight fire, and all I can say is this. Hats off to Tszyu for jumping right back into the lion's den. And he's 4 months for that cut to heal on top of his head. That was a nasty gash in which he was just licking his blood and moving forward and trying to still put forth a great gallant effort against Fundora.
It's called a real fighter.
Yes. And
indeed.
I will say this. He understands the business as well. His handlers are doing a tremendous job. Can't say the same for his cornermen, but this is the way fans will have healthy amnesia. The reason why they seem to put too much emphasis on a single win or a single loss, because they don't get back in the ring soon enough. Right. This guy wants you to forget about that Fundora debacle, and he wants you to, move forward and appreciate a real fighter and how a real fighter acts in the ring. I'm with him too, but Virgil Ortiz in my opinion, going to prove to be too much, and he's going to win once again by knockout, by body shot in the mid to late rounds.
It's a fantastic fight, and it's happening in Southern California. And I tell you this, it's not the main event on this card. And as much as I love Terence Crawford, that fight right there, Tszyu versus Ortiz, is worth the travel, worth the price. I might just take my ass down to LA and watch that one in person, man. That is a fantastic fight. I cannot wait for that. But guys, again, we got about 10 minutes left here with Rick. So if anyone in the chat, you want to ask him a question about anything that's going on currently right now, now is your time to chime in the chat. But Rick, will you be attending that fight? That fight card August 3rd.
I don't. It's too early. I don't know. You're asking me something. I don't know if I'll be alive then. For Christ's sake. I'm 66.
Oh, boo! Don't say that. We're praying for you, Rick. But hey,
well,
Rick,
I knew you weren't going to be
you,
at that big card in Fresno that happened last Saturday. I know that for a fact. So go ahead.
Oh,
Joe.
of course, Fred.
All I know is everybody went through that Fresno airport. I was begging them to send me pictures of the fucking John Deere tractor, and they were all cracking up.
Well, Rick, how about this, Joseph?
Tell
that thing you told me earlier about the possible matchup with Ramirez and Garcia. About Jose. Do you remember, Joe? Or do you want me to say it?
No, go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, he says if Golden Boy plans on doing a summertime fight with Ryan, it could possibly be Jose Ramirez in LA, that Ramirez might just come into the ring on that John Deere tractor.
I actually think, you know what? I don't know. Maybe it'd be Barbosa instead of Ramirez. I don't know. Barbosa's clamoring for a big fight, so maybe it's
sure
him.
is. He sure is. But you know, Ramirez is a big fight for Southern California, Central Southern California. I think they could do good numbers with that. I think.
You think Ryan Garcia's going to go up there?
No. I'm saying in LA. They'll do it in LA, and it's not that far from Fresno. It's maybe an hour or so drive from Fresno. So
Fresno to LA is 4.5 hours, bro.
Is it? No way. Because it's 6 hours for me here in Sacramento. About 6.5 hours.
John Deere
4.5 hours. I've driven it twice. Please.
You've done it? Okay.
Yes, okay. Twice.
Well, they'll come.
He's not fond of it.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so we got a few questions here from Outlaw. It says, Rick, any word on the PBC fighters leaving?
That fire.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them. They're leaving like rocket ships. It's like they're just taking off. You know, another one left. I don't even want to mention it, but another one left. A hot young prospect left, undefeated, and he's an 8-round fighter. A whole bunch of contenders left. They're just leaving like rocket ships.
Yeah, I heard about another one leaving as well, but I'm not going to reveal who that is, but that should be revealed shortly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of them leaving. Question here from Champ Rogers says, what do you guys think of Jared Anderson getting into the heavyweight mix with Turkey Al-Sheikh? Apparently, he's been added to that August 3rd card. This is news to me. Have you guys heard anything on that?
No, he's fighting in not true.
Toledo.
He's fighting in Toledo.
Not okay. True. All right. So Big Baby versus Andy Ruiz. Who do you got, Rick? That's from Bruce Gas.
I mean, you gotta like Andy Ruiz. The other guy we just stopped in his last fight. But Ruiz, who knows what he's got left? You know, you're talking about two guys that aren't the most well-trained guys, so who knows, but you'd have to figure Andy Ruiz. He's a better puncher with one shot, and he's still Andy Ruiz, you know what I mean? But does he have a lot left in the tank? I don't know.
Who knows? Yeah, he's been on the shelf.
That's a big tank.
Yeah, exactly. And he's been on the shelf due to his mismanagement, but that's another story. Votex here says, to the panel, you guys think Miramov will be a bigger challenge than Earl Spence?
Yes.
Yes. Do I think what?
Yes.
Will Miramov be a better challenge?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Yep. Not even a question.
Yep. But Terence Crawford, guys, this is a guy who's going to disarm you over just getting his eyes adjusted to the hand speed, the punch selection. I mean, this guy sees it all in the ring. He is a modern master. You could plop this ambidextrous badass in any era, and he would do just fine for himself. And you're going to see this look eerily like his matchup with Igas Cavallasquez, in which he might have a little bit of trouble in the early rounds, but as soon as he figures him out and disarms him, it's over. It's over because he is the pound for pound best fighter in the world right now.
Yep.
Indeed. I agree with that. Crawford should be. I've never made a pound for pound list myself, but if I did, yeah, he would be at the top right now.
And in a way, a close second.
Indeed. Indeed. Question here from Kamikaze, one of my best subscribers out there. And he says, question for Rick. Does Benavidez stay at 175 after his fight with how do you say that name?
Gvozdyk.
Terrible. Gvozdyk. That's right.
Gvozdyk. Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Okay. And then he goes on to say, could we see the winner of Bivol Beterbiev fight Benavidez?
Yes.
Or is Canelo still a possibility?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I like that fight. I like all those
Don't forget,
fights.
David Morrell is going to be making his 175-pound debut on the August 3rd fight as well. So they're talking about a round robin with those guys. But Rick, we haven't asked you who you like in Beterbiev versus Bivol on June 1st.
I like Beterbiev. He's much stronger. He's more heavy-handed, and he's got better balance. The other guy is he's not a puncher. He's gone the distance in a lot of straight fights. I think maybe he stopped one guy in the last 8 fights or something like that. I mean, he's just not a puncher, and I think that the other guy can get you out of there. He's got 20 guys out of there in the past, 20-0 with 20 knockouts, I believe he is. So you got to like Beterbiev. Now he's a little older. His legs aren't what they were. The other guy can box real well, but they both have high ring IQs, and I think that Beterbiev will overcome the little advantages like the foot speed and the hand speed that Bivol has.
Fantastic breakdown. And yeah, Beterbiev, man, I don't understand it, but most people they underrate his boxing skills and ring IQ.
Because most guys that are vicious punchers are not great boxers, don't have high ring IQs. That's why.
Yeah, but he is.
And they always talk about the punching power. They never talk about the boxing ability and the ring IQ.
Right.
Yep.
And people are asking you questions about Floyd. Is he tied up hostage in a hotel? Rick answered that earlier. No, that is not what's going on there.
He's detained.
Yeah. And I don't know if this is a question or a comment here from Raider. He says Canelo versus Dave Benavidez, undisputed versus undisputed 2025. There is the 150 million Canelo's looking for, one of the biggest fights ever. So I guess he's saying
it's not happening. Benavidez is going to go to 75 and stay there. They're going to offer him a lot of money to fight the winner of Beterbiev and Bivol, and it won't happen. He won't be able to get the weight come down in the weight department anymore, and he won't be able to make the weight. He's a growing young guy. Once he fights at 75, he'll feel comfortable, and he won't be going down to 68 to kill himself. Doesn't work like that. That's for fantasy.
And Rick, and once again, guys, he's got to get past Jaime Munguia this Saturday night. And Rick, how's it looking for Golden Boy Promotions if Munguia pulls off the upset right after Ryan Garcia just made a big hit?
Well, put it this way to you. Okay. Zordo Ramirez just won the WBA Cruiserweight World title. Okay. Mm-hmm. Ryan Garcia just won a mega fight with Devin Haney. If Munguia wins and Virgil Ortiz wins, you got to say that Golden Boy's got they'll have 6 out of 10 of the big attractions in boxing.
Yeah,
think about that.
Golden Boy will be sitting real pretty, man, if Munguia pulls that upset this weekend.
That's right, guys.
You'll still hear fans saying "earn with Hearn."
Yeah,
right,
guys. It's 10:30. I gotta fly. It's been great. Next Monday, and if you guys want to do a Sunday night special after the show on Saturday night,
Boom.
because let's say there's something controversial, I'm open to do it Saturday night. Sunday night, if you guys want to do that. Okay.
That would be beautiful.
Sounds good,
Thank
Rick.
you, Rick. Thank you for
Thanks,
always
guys.
being here for us.
Thanks
my
for
friend.
coming on, Rick.
Yep. Thanks
I'll
for
be in
having me.
contact soon, man. Have a good night.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
All right, let's give him a hand on the way out, Mr. Rick Glaser. Thank you for coming on, and thank all of you guys in the chat for listening in. Again, don't forget to hit the like for me, guys. All right, don't forget to do that. It's free 99, okay? So go ahead and take care of that. But Joe, any last words you want to say? Because I got to wrap this thing up as well. It's almost time for the kids to go to bed. It's a school night. So, yeah, any last comments or anything you want to say out there, Joe? Go ahead.
Once again, guys, you guys are supposed to be the most intelligent ambassadors that this sport has on social media. So quit sounding like Nimrods and poo-pooing all over undercards when you have no idea how the fight's going to play out just yet. Look at you guys stinking on this main event this past Saturday, and it was a great fight. And I told you guys that this was a tough style matchup for Jose Ramirez. Wait till the fights play out, damn it, and quit stinking on your supposed favorite sport ad nauseum.
Yes, sir. I agree, because, yeah, we don't know. It's the theater of the unexpected, guys. And shout out to Peter Von Arx, who just popped in. Go ahead and play this back once we end. We had a fantastic show with Rick, and it's always fun talking with our buddy Rick Glaser from Buffalo, New York.
In the tri-state area.
The tri-state area. So, yeah, that's it for this one, guys. Thank you, Joe, for your time and coming on, man. It was a fun show, like always. And we will definitely see you guys on the next one. I have a few guests coming up this week that I'm going to try to book. Big fight week, guys. Canelo, Munguia. That's a huge fight, and it's going to be a fantastic fight to watch. So make sure you guys buy that pay-per-view, all right? Buy it for the main event, okay? So for Rick, Joseph, this is G Funky Boxing. I'm out. We'll see you guys on the next one.